So that is sent out um, against you. And those are the things that are going to continue to try to happen to you. So this is why I'm saying it's on repeat, because that is the intent. That is the purpose. So hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I am Aradia Arcanum, and I hope y'all are doing well. Welcome to everyone who are here. If this is your first time here, please do consider subscribing. But I wanted to make this video because it was the topic of conversation the other night, and there were some questions asked, and I think this is very important. So I want to talk a little bit about why I think, I mean, besides the obvious, why I want to talk about it, and then share with you. I have here written down so I won't forget. I have about six things, six signs that I want to talk about and yeah, share with you. And hopefully, if you are watching this, that you comment some ways that are signs for you, letting you know that you are being spiritually attacked, because we are all unique and in the way that that happens. So let me just jump right into it. So grab a seat and yeah, let's talk about this. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this is, one, because it was, like I said, we had this conversation the other night on one of our Zooms, and I know that I can admit that I have been quite naive in the past, thinking that this wasn't something that I really had to worry about. So when you are, first of all, when you are in the public's eye or on social media, have a social media presence, or working in the realm of spirituality more than others, that should be the first thing you think about. Well, let me take steps to make sure that I'm protected from any spiritual attacks, because they come in all different forms. They come from people unintentionally, when we have the jealousy and anger and hate towards you, or they come from people that intend to send out spiritual attacks against you. And I used to think, you know, I was and am not the type of person, like, I mind my business. And it takes a lot for me to do anything to anyone. Like, it has to be, it's one of those things where you pissed me off. And it takes a lot to piss me off. So I'm not one of those people, you're thinking you're minding your business. So you're not thinking, well, let me protect myself because I did this, right? So that's how I was thinking. I was thinking, like, well, I'm not doing anything to anybody, so I'm not expecting to be attacked. That couldn't be farther from the truth. So I wanted to make this video because what if there's others out there that feel like they aren't doing anything to anybody, so they're not thinking about protecting themselves, because that's not the mind frame that you are in. That wasn't the mind frame that I was in. So it was like the furthest thing from my mind. But repeatedly, I was proven wrong. And I was proven wrong from learning experiencing and understanding the signs that I'm going to share with you, and having to go through them to say, hey, wait, that's what that was, or that's what that is. And then had to have that, you know, checked by divination. And so repeatedly, this was something that was happening. And I'm like, I don't understand. I'm not doing anything to anybody, at least in my mind, right? This is our perception. Right? You don't know what you may have said to someone, or just, not that it's my fault or your fault, but it's just something that you need to be aware of, that it's in your mind. It's nothing that you have to do to get spiritually attacked. So let's get into the 6 things that I want to share with you. And if there's more that I think about while I'm doing this video, I will share that. But I want to share 6 things, and then a couple of things that I think you can do to protect yourself. At least one thing that I want to share with you. So the first thing on this list is chaos. So yes, let me give a disclaimer first. All of these things on this list can happen without it being a spiritual attack, right? All of these things can happen in our lives. Some things are brought about by us. So when you think about chaos, yes, there is a healthy level of chaos that happens in our lives as a form of it being a catalyst to for things to shift and change, or it can happen in our lives when we do certain things and it causes chaos. But this is when you have chaos and it's the result of someone sending you a spiritual attack. This is that chaos that is on repeat, right? So it is constant, right? You find yourself in chaos, not, if not every day, every other day, or it's just a common thread, a common theme of chaos happening, because it's disrupting the order of things and infiltrating your realm. So that causes chaos. Confusion. And that's another biggie, because what happens is when a spiritual attack comes to infiltrate, it is breaking a pattern of thought. It is causing blocks. So there's confusion, and what happens is confusion is meant to bring about doubt, and doubt brings about fear. So it cripples you because you don't know what to do. You're confused. So you have all these questions, and so usually what happens when that kind of energy comes about, confusion, you wind up not doing anything. So it is stopping you from moving forward. I call it the fog. Someone like confusion, except you're not even confused. You're just like, you're forgetting things. It's, the fogginess in your brain, and it makes you forget a lot of things. It makes you, when your brain is foggy, when that happens to me, I'm lethargic because it's like you can't think, you're forgetting things, even the typical things in your life that is on repeat every day. It's the things that's in your daily practice. You're like, oh my goodness, I normally do this. Why did I forget to do that? So this is something that happens. Everything on this list is, that it is a spiritual attack when it's something that is not the norm, and it's happening on repeat. It's happening. It's a consistency to it. When someone sends out a spiritual attack against you, there are things said. There's instructions given. So during, that's that working, that spell working, there's the intention is set for certain things to happen. So that is sent out against you, and those are the things that are going to continue to try to happen to you. So this is why I'm saying it's on repeat, because that is the intent, that is the purpose. So the purpose is continuing to try to play out in your life. So whatever that is, It's on repeat. Dreams. So that's a big one for a lot of people, because usually what happens is they say they're having all these nightmares. And I don't want to call them nightmares, because in my experience, what has happened to me, it's not necessarily that it's a nightmare. It is uncomfortable. It's weird. And you're like, what is this? And it's a heavy feeling, maybe a dark feeling, or you're being chased all the time. You're being attacked all the time. Someone's hunting you. These are the things that has happened to me. So this is why I'm sharing with you. And in our conversation the other night, this is something that is it happens to a lot of people. In your dreams, what happens is, right, in our waking state, we read books, we take in the information, we're feeding our brain images, right? So your brain registers that, oh, this image means this. So if you're someone that is afraid of a red balloon or something, right? If you're afraid of balloons, and your brain senses that there's fear happening, or it's trying to send you a warning, it's going to show you a red balloon, right? It's going to say, oh, this represents fear. Let me show this red balloon. So in your dreams, when all of these weird things are happening, it is because it is not the common definition of what that thing is. It is how you perceive it or have perceived it, and this is how your brain is communicating with you. So when you are being spiritually attacked, you'll see all of these weird things. People are literally going to try to attack you. And so this is that theme. So it will be reoccurring every night, every other night, a few times a week, but more than often. And it will continue to happen so that it can, complete its purpose, right? Complete the thing that it was set out to do. The odd physical pains. So there's levels to this, right? So there's the pain that you get that is like, ow, I've never felt that pain before. And if those words are uttered out of your mouth, you're going to want to pay attention in any way, right? Because this is a physical pain in your body, so you want to make sure you're okay, first of all. So I want to compare this to your immune system, because when you are in doing spiritual work across the board anyway, whether you are or not, but we're talking about when you're in the realms of spirituality, when you're doing spiritual work, you want to always think about protecting yourself physically by taking care of yourself and keeping your immune system up to par. So if your immune system is healthy, it can fight off everything. So that is equivalent to on the spiritual side of things, you building up that spiritual immunity by putting protection in place. So just like your immune system, if it is not healthy, it is easy for diseases and sicknesses to happen. In your body, like a fever is a warning something is happening. So just like on the spiritual side of things, if you don't have your protection in place, things get through, and there's warnings. Your system, your intuition, and everything is trying to send you warnings, and that comes in different forms. So the eye pain happens. Also with pain comes injuries. So you become like this klutz, and you trip and fall. So it's almost like I envision someone doing spell work against you, and maybe tying shoelaces together to represent your feet, your shoes being tied, and it causes you to trip and fall. So pain comes in the form of like internal pains to your body or through injuries. So if you find yourself being a klutz, you're like, why do I keep walking into things? Why do I keep dropping things? Why do I keep tripping over things? Take a step back and think about that. And, you know, maybe you want to make sure that someone's not setting up spiritual attack against you. So the last thing on the list is patterns. And patterns is kind of summing it up because you know, it's the thing that helps let you know that maybe this is a spiritual attack. So the reason why, like I mentioned, the reason why it's going to be patterns is because that person that's sending that attack out against you is they gave that spell directions, right? So they gave them a list of things they want to happen. So when that's sent out, that list of things that is meant against you is going to continue to happen because those are the only things that was sent against you. So it's going to come out in a pattern because that pattern is something that is going to be repetitive and it's going to continue to happen until you take notice or until it has completed its job. So you want to look for patterns, and like I said, patterns are the things that are on repeat. Whatever that is, it's on repeat. I shared before on here. I think the video has something about bottom feeder on it, but this is typical of what I was mentioning about dreams. And I'm not going to go into the entire dream, but I just want to point out some things. There's a portion of the dream where this person was standing there, and I tell everybody, he reminds me of, I forget the bald-headed guy on What We Do in the Shadows, the one that drains you of he was a psychic vampire. But this guy was standing there. First clue, right? This is my brain telling me this is that type of person that's here. So the next thing is we're standing. A group of us is standing in front of a diner. So this guy is fighting us and pushing us into this diner. So we all go to the diner. We close the door so that he can't come in. So next thing you know, it flashes to I'm sitting there with some people in the diner, and I look over. That guy is sitting there talking to someone, as you know, at another table, and we're all sitting in a diner. And so I had to I woke up. I'm like, okay, that was weird. I need to figure out what this is. So I spoke to a friend that I knew would help me with that, and because he's very good for that, but. So in our conversation, we realized that was kind of like a bottom feeder. So it was at the point, right? The diner represented food, feeding. Seeing the image of the guy that reminded me of What We Do in the Shadows, psychic vampire draining you. So it was at a time where I was like, you know, you go your energy waxes and wanes. So you go through not, you know, when you're feeling. Your emotions are tied to a lot of things. So if you're in a space where you're not right, like your frequencies aren't raised, it kind of knocks down those walls of protection. So you're off your game. So at that point, that's what was happening, and it's like they're like leeches, bottom feeders. They like see, oh, that though her walls are down, attack. So that's what was happening. But you can tell in that dream it was trying to warn me. I know diner is where we eat, where food is at, and I know that guy represented. So you really want to kind of dissect the dream like that. You know, pay attention to what each thing means to you, not to the actual definition, but what it means to you. So this is why, you know, it's happened to me quite a bit. And the main reason, like I said in the beginning, I wanted to share this is because a lot of people feel like that this wouldn't happen to them. And I don't want it to be, because you hear so many people say that, oh my God, I'm cursed, Or, oh, every little thing that happens, they feel like, oh, someone's sending out an attack against me. You could just cover this in a 101 when you come into at least you know this when you come into spirituality. You know this in the mundane because you need to lock your door. If you don't lock your door at night, there's chances of the enemy coming in. So you have to lock your door, and you have to lock the door to your realm, to your spiritual self. And 101 is doing that. So before it gets to the point where, not saying it won't happen, but it will happen less, because you will be fortified and it will be difficult for people to get through. And I didn't realize that when in the beginning that was even a thing. So I'll share another quick little story that I think I've shared, because I think it's important to understand that you have the ability to keep people out. So I was practicing when I was in a coven years ago, practicing the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. And I had to learn it, so I was doing it all the time. So it was like building it up, that fortified protection in my home. So I remember one night we were talking about traveling in astrally. So one of the coven members came, and he was like, let's travel. Let's, play in the astral and travel to one another's home. So I was like, all right, cool. So I forgot about it. And a couple of days later, when we met up again, he was like, I traveled to your home, but I couldn't get in. Like, it was blocked. He said he just saw like this shield around my entire home. And when you want someone to come in, like you're doing an experiment like that, you have to take down those shield walls. I didn't realize, I didn't understand at that time what I was doing when I was doing a protection, but it worked. And that was when I realized it works. So don't think that those little acts of you doing your protection means nothing. It does. When you come into spirituality, magic, witchcraft, all those things, right? The first thing you hear about when we talk about protection is shielding. Shield yourself. And most people think about, oh, I'm shielding a bubble or some kind of form of spirit, like a spear going around you to protect you, like a bubble. That was working, right? But the thing that I found more powerful, at least for me, is I visualized myself. This happened years ago when I had the thought to do this. So I tried it out. I was going into an event that was doing a ritual. And I remember saying to myself, something feels off. Like, I see the people doing the ritual, but it's an audience, right? So the audience is unprotected because they are casting the circle up front. So, and it was the circle, they were calling forth a demon. So I was like, oh wait, I need to protect myself. So automatically I visualized these wings coming out of my back, and huge, and being enveloped into them. And I remember telling this to my friend, and she was like, wings? I can't see you thinking of that. So she thought I meant like angel wings, like with feathers. I said no, they were gargoyle wings. They were like dragon wings. So because if you know me, I love gargoyles. So I envisioned these huge like gargoyle wings coming out of my back and protecting me. And it shielded me. I felt powerful. So it's like, when you envision this, the reason why I think it's more powerful for you to envision you turning into something that you feel is powerful, or you envisioning maybe something coming when you feel fear, like standing at your back, a being or something, but a visual of what you feel powerful, what you feel is powerful. I think that's more, because some people don't think, oh, bubble is powerful. So whatever you identify with that you call power, this is that thing that you call forth. Because what happens is you're it's like that fight or flight, right? So when your brain understands, oh, fear is near, danger is near, let me adjust those your body's hormones or something, so that when that fight or flight happens, you get stronger. Like, you literally, there's been uh recorded things happening where people have done the impossible, like lift cars. So it's like that. So when your brain understands, oh, she's invoking this image because this is a protective image, so your brain follows suit. It follows in line. It's like, let's fortify this body. So it helps you to build, connect with that, and automatically get fortified energetically. Your field is fortified. So it's like that armor. So you want to, when you are being spiritually attacked, you could think about putting on your spiritual armor in the astral. So that's something you could do quite a bit too. Like, if you're someone that wants to travel astrally, or you find yourself, you are, because some people can lucid dream, and you are there. And even if you don't, because what happens is, when you do something all the time, it becomes automatic. And when you are in a dream and you're not aware that, until you wake up, like, oh, I had this happened, it automatically does it because your brain is triggered, right? So that's the thing I wanted to share with you. Like, do an experiment and try that out. Take a few moments to sit and think, what feels protective to you? What image is protective for you? What animal? What being? What god or goddess is? So those are the things that I wanted to share with you, because these are things that I have experienced. So please do share in the comments, so that if I didn't mention something, or maybe you want to elaborate on one of these things that I mentioned in some of your experiences with it, because I think this is something that a lot of people need to know and understand, and understand what to pay attention to as a sign that you are being spiritually attacked. So like and subscribe. It helps me out greatly. And until the next video, I love you all, and into the shadows.